Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Wednesday, May the 10th, 2023. My name is Stephen Carnegie, and welcome to This Is Just a Thought. Today's word of the day, conclave, which means a gathering of a group or association. Conclave. Hope everyone will enjoy their Wednesday midweek swing. The end of the work week is almost here. Middle of the work week. Wow. Weather here in North Carolina, man, it's been beautiful. It just has. We had a couple of days of temperatures in the 80s, but outside of that, I can't complain. Yeah, it did get in the 80s. It was warm. It's kind of warm. A precursor to what's coming, you might say. Because yesterday, man, I went out, I was at work. I went outside and I could tell it was 80 because the heat just hit me. So, hey, we haven't felt those temperatures in a while, but it's a-coming. That summer heat is coming, is a-coming. But yesterday evening into the night, we got some rain and it cooled things off. Woke up this morning to temperatures in the 50s. Felt good. Expected to be in the 70s today, so temperatures are going to rise back up. Yeah, get some rain later on this weekend. That seems to be a common thing. Man, every weekend we're getting rain of some sort. So it's expected to come in sometime this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Sunday is looking more like a chance of rain on Mother's Day. So we'll see what happens. But, man, yeah, it has been beautiful here, man. Like I said, those 80s, even though it was warm, it was still quite pleasant. Just was. All right, let's move along here, man. The NBA Playoffs. Man, if you guys have been watching like I've been watching, it's been some, man, all the games have been great. They just have. And last night, it didn't upset the 76ers versus the Celtics. 76ers pulled it out 115 to 103. Joel Embiid came back, about a couple of games back. He came back. He had a knee brace on. They ended up losing. And it for a while there, brief while, I should say, looked like the Celtics were going to do something. But if they don't pull it off tomorrow night, 76ers have the series. Yeah. If they don't pull out a victory tomorrow night to extend this series possibly to a seventh game, 76ers have it. Joel Embiid and James Harden, and along with two more supporting cast members, Harris and Maxey. Man, those guys put in some work last night. They just did. So Tatum for the Celtics, what in the world is going on with him? Last year, the year before last, they were saying, well, he's new. He has to adjust to the style of NBA play. And it doesn't look like he's adjusting. I mean, it takes him too long to get started, to get warmed up. And by the time he's warmed up, the other team is off and running to the races. So the Celtics are always playing catch up. Man, Tatum, wow. Maybe he'll do something tomorrow night, but last night, man, it belonged to the 76ers. Joel Embiid and James Harden and those other two. Like I said, that they put in some work, because when Joel Embiid came back about 2 games ago, he had a big, bulky knee brace on. He was bumbling and stumbling all over the place. And James Harden, they were looking for him to take over the game, but he kept looking like he was looking for Embiid to do something. Like I said, for a brief while, it looked like the Celtics were going to run away, because they showed out that game about 2 games ago, and everybody was like, hey, Tatum and company, they might get them one. Wow. But it doesn't look that way now, because, like I said, tomorrow night, if they can pull it out, the 76ers, they won the series and they're advancing. Same thing in the East also with the Miami Heat and the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. Tonight they're going to play, and hey, the Heat lead the series 3-2. So tonight's going to be a tell-all tale for the Knicks. The Knicks are a young squad. They just are. I would say this may not be their year, or it's not their year. Give them another year or two. The Knicks are going to be lingering around. But yeah, looks like so far there's two in the East. They can close out the series tonight and tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens with that. And in the West, wow. Oh, man, I hate to do it, the Phoenix, but wow, what is going on with you guys? Because the Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns, that's another one that can be closed out tomorrow night, because last night the Nuggets got it. They got them one. They lead that series 3-2. They won 118-102. Booker and Durant, what in the world is going on with you guys? They need a little help, looks like, because the Joker and Murray for the Nuggets, they continue to shine, and they had some help again, just like the other game with the 76ers and the Celtics. The Nuggets they got a supporting cast. They just do. So it looks like, hey, in the West, looks like Denver's going to take that Phoenix Sun and Denver Nuggets series. They're going to take it. Unless something strange happens, or stranger things have happened, Phoenix may get them a win tomorrow night, but I don't think so. Not the way they've been playing. Just like with Tatum and the Celtics, it takes Durant a little while to warm up. Booker came out last night. He was firing on all cylinders, but he didn't have any help. It took Durant a while to get on the board. And once he did, I mean, he was up and running, but it was too late. The Nuggets had already secured that win. That dub was in the bag. It was just going through the motions. So Kevin Durant and Booker, wow. And of course, Paul George is still on the bench with his injury. And one thing that came out that was kind of interesting, what they're saying with Booker being pretty much the go-to guy now that Paul George is out, the pace of Phoenix and their ball playing and handling has been picked up. And what they're saying is, hey, if Paul George comes back, can he adjust? He isn't a fast-paced guy. He's slow and methodical. Yeah, he is. But it looks like Phoenix is, I mean, with Booker at the helm, they're off and running. And they have moments. But they can't pull it off. They just can't. And of course, out of the West, the game everyone is waiting for. I myself, I'm eagerly anticipating it also. The Los Angeles Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers lead that series 3-1. And that one victory that Golden State had, they looked good. But man, Anthony Davis, old brittle bones Anthony Davis, he's been showing out. He's looking good. So many are saying the Lakers are going to take this series. Golden State the other night, man, what was that? Tuesday night? Monday night, man, they just looked so disheveled and out of place and like they were drained. Curry tried. Draymond Green. It's Draymond Green. It's Draymond Green. He's going to do whatever he has to do to get in somebody's head, and he did. But he couldn't pull it off. They couldn't pull it off. And then you had Klay Thompson. He was in a slump. Jordan Poole was in a slump. And so Davis and LeBron James, along with Schroeder and some more guys, they pulled it. They got it together, and they got in the groove, and they didn't look back. So we'll see what happens with this one. Chef Curry's not looking too tough right now. He's in a bit of a slump because Monday night they just look horrible. I wouldn't place a bet on them to save my life. They did. So yeah, the NBA playoffs is looking pretty good. Like I said, there's a couple of teams that can just close out the series tonight and tomorrow night. Yeah, I think the sure bet one is that Miami Heat New York Knicks series is pretty much done for New York. I mean, yeah, stranger things have happened, but I think it's a wrap for them. It just is. New York's not a bad team. They're young and experienced. So like I said, a couple of years, they'll be back. They just will. And then you have the 76ers versus the Celtics. That's gone. That is done. It just is. Tatum, I don't know what the world's going on with him. He has some players around him, but they aren't the go-to. They aren't the star. They're relying on him to get things going early. And when you have your supporting cast having to pull out all the stocks early on, and then you finally catch up and get warmed up, that's usually not a good look. Doesn't produce too many victories. And it's showing. So that series is, I say, hey, that's going to the 76ers. And then you have Denver and the Suns. Sadly to say, I think Denver's going to take it. Which, like I told you guys before, I was going to give it to the Phoenix Suns. But man, oh man, I think Denver's going to take that. So we'll see what happens. I guess if LA pulls it out, it'll be Denver and LA in the West. Then in the East, it'll be the 76ers and Miami. That'll be a good one. Jimmy Butler, Miami, he continues to roll. He just does. That one victory the Knicks got, yeah, he was out. When he came back, he continued to do what he does. Hustle. He's one of those ball players, he hustles. Every play, every series, or however you want to word it, he's in there doing something. If he's not making a bucket, he's back on defense. He's disrupting plays. And it shows. So it looks like I said, three of these games or playoffs series is pretty much wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's done. I feel safe in saying now I know who's coming out of the East and the West based off of this ball play, because man, it's been. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I can tell you that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like that Denver and Phoenix Suns series. Surprisingly, I just did. You know, even though the Suns are struggling, I love to see Durant and Booker play together. But surprisingly, I love to see the Joker and Murray. Murray's another one that puts in a lot of work. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. But when he's on, he's on. It's pretty nice to watch him ball. Just is. So, hey, that's my little predictions. But we'll see what LA does. Because this has happened before, and before the roles were reversed. It was the Warriors that were up 3-1, and the Lakers were down. Somehow, some way, the Lakers came back and forced that Game 7. I believe the Warriors eventually did take it anyway. But hey, one thing that comes to mind when a lot of times when they extend these series, or when these series of playoff games get extended to 7 games. You know, one team has been up the whole series, and all of a sudden the team that's down comes back and wins 2 more games and forces that game 7. That's what is called an old school gambling man series for the odds and bookers in Las Vegas. So we'll see what happens out there in LA. We just will. Hey, I'm glued to the TV every night. I am. It's been a long time since I've seen some good basketball playing like this. I usually don't tune in, sadly, to the NBA until the finals, when the last 2 teams are remaining. Because it's so predictable. It's always that one team that dominates. But this year, it's anybody's game. And that's what makes it so exciting to me. I can just sit back and sip on some cold ones and watch and enjoy. Scream and holler and yell, laugh at the TV. I just can't. Hey, I haven't talked about this, but a little bit of surprise in hockey. I'm not a hockey dude, by the way. I'm not. But the Carolina Hurricanes, in their series, in their bout to the Stanley Cup, looks like they could quite possibly close out the series also. They're playing the New Jersey Devils. And they got them one last night. And quite possibly, I'm not sure if they're playing tonight or tomorrow night. Whatever the case may be, they may be going back to the Stanley Cup. Like I said, I'm not a hockey fan. I don't know that much about hockey. I just remember the good old days when those guys used to fight. I just did. Hey. Like I said, I'm not a hockey fan. But yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes looks like they're on their way back to the Stanley Cup also. Unless New Jersey pulls something out, it could be a wrap. Just good. Yeah, I remember that old school hockey play where those guys used to get to fighting and they would let them fight. They were hitting each other with sticks, throwing each other on the floor, knocking their helmets off, trying to bash their heads through the ice. That's not nice, but that's the way I remember. They don't, of course, they don't do that anymore. They can't do that anymore, man. That's too barbaric. It's one of those sports on that ice with those skates and those hockey sticks and those pucks flying around. Anything could happen. But good luck to the Carolina Hurricanes. They might be going back to the Stanley Cup. Good thing. All right, let's move along here, Matt. And an update of sorts. New York Representative George Santos from Long Island. This morning he has to appear in federal court, to face charges. And that indictment, it won't be unsealed until he's standing in front of the judge. But many are saying, just like I told you guys months ago, he's going to be facing fraud charges, campaign fraud charges, I should say, of his handling of the campaign finances. Now, if you don't know the backstory of this guy, wow, he's a piece of work. He is. He's a piece of work. He is a politician. He lied about his credentials. He said he worked for Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch. That was a lie. He lied. That was his business dealings. He lied about his family life. He said his mother or grandmother were Holocaust survivors. Turns out they weren't. They're Catholic. I can't make this up. So he lied about his religion. Now, guys, he lied about that. Goes into his family life also, because he also said that his mother was there on 9/11, but she wasn't. She was in another country. So he lied about his business, lied about his religion. You'd be pretty bad when you lie about your religion, man. That's pretty low. Lied about his religion, lied about his business dealings. He also defrauded a veteran that was in need of care for his dog that had a tumor that was dying. He started a GoFundMe. Santos, he raised $3,000, and that veteran said he ain't seen one penny of that money. God, that guy he's an all-around fraud. He's not a politician. He's a fraud. Now, he said in the interview, this is the arrogance of some people in this guy. He said in an interview, he said he didn't lie to the people that voted for him. He just used what he had to get elected. It was a lie. Everything was a lie. Those folks in Long Island, they voted for you on the premise of what you were saying was actual factuals, was the truth, and come to find out it's an all-out lie. That campaign money that you donated, they said he donated 500 million or 500,000 to his campaign, but that raised a red flag because on an itemized report of his income, he only made 55,000 over 2 years. So where did 500,000 come from for you to donate to that campaign? You took it out of your campaign. That he labeled the 500,000. He donated it to his campaign. He said that was part of his income. That was his personal earnings, and he donated it to his own campaign so he could run. But you only made $55,000 in 2 years. Took money from that campaign. And they're also saying that he's also going to have to answer because they may have found, or they have flat out found, that he was using those campaign funds to pay for his lavish lifestyle, designer clothes, paid off some credit cards, and paid the rent on an apartment that he said was used for his team during his campaign. They were staying there. Come to find out, there was nobody staying there but him and his mate. So you use those funds to pay for that rent and that nice apartment. However, thousands or close to however $1,000 a month that apartment was. Rest assured, when I say once again, those people up there in Long Island, they can't afford that type of apartment. I know Long Island is kind of an up-to-do, swanky kind of town, but man, the average person that gets out and work every day, they can't afford a rent for a $10,000 or whatever month apartment. So you used it to pay the rent. You used it to pay off your credit cards, keep creditors off you, and you used it to buy you some nice clothes. Ew. Guy's a crook. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. He just is. I mean, there's no other way around it. But the thing for me, all of that, how he used those campaign funds to pay for whatever, what have you, his lifestyle. But the thing for me was that Navy vet and that dog and that GoFundMe account. I believe the dog was dying. He had a tumor or whatever, what have you. He had some type of cancerous tumor. So you put together this GoFundMe and you raise funds, and the dog ended up dying. Didn't get any care. Pocketed the money. Kept it for yourself. And when he was asked, he said he had no idea what they were talking about, because supposedly that was a non-profit business that he was running, where he helped service dogs. He helped animals. But you helped a service dog that was helping a Navy veteran that had PTSD. And he was dependent upon that dog being around, surviving, and you helping him get the dog the surgery he needed to continue to be a service to him, to help him through his traumatic time. Pocketed the money. Or maybe he used it to help pay off some of those credit cards. I don't mean to laugh, but man, come on now. Wow. The things folks do, it just, I won't say it blows my mind, but it heightens my awareness of how folks roll and operate. Took a lot of money from folks on a lie. I don't care how fancy you try to word it. Old politician saying of you didn't lie, you just used what you had to get elected where you were at. I don't think the folks of Long Island, they don't strike me as those that roll with a lie. And that's what you did. They lied. You got caught up in so many of your lies. Why you would? I guess he was tugging on the heartstring of the voters. He was going to all demographics. He was going after the Jewish vote. He said his mother or his grandparents were Holocaust survivors. He was tugging at the heartstring of those from Long Island with 9/11, because a lot of those firefighters and EMS and police, quite a bit of them came out of Long Island. So he was tugging at that heartstring also. Wow. So you got the Holocaust survivors, the Jewish vote. You got those that are from survivors to family members of those that passed from 9/11. You got their vote. And you and that service dog, man, that GoFundMe for that took me out. That just did. That took me out. I was like, man, that's enough. That's enough. This guy's a hustler. Yeah, most people say politicians are hustlers. I mean, they are. They got to hustle up not just to vote, but they got to hustle up the funds to run. So to an extent, he really didn't, he kind of stretched the truth, but he kind of didn't, because he said, like I said, hey, I just had to use what I had where I was at to get elected. And he did. And you lied about your education. You lied about your work history. Both of those major companies, Sachs and Merrill Lynch, they came out and said, "Well, no, we don't have any record of him working here. Not even as a janitor." I can't make this up. This reads like some old TV show or one of those not late 90s movies about politicians in their hustle to get votes. And he did. He got elected. Now, if he's convicted on these charges, he can still serve. Still serve out his time. People have to come back around whenever that is and vote him out. If they want to get rid of him, he'll need a 2/3 majority vote to get out, to kick him out. One that has been pretty tight-lipped is Representative McCarthy. Now, the House of Representatives, the Republican Party, which, by the way, George Santos is a Republican, they hold a slim majority. I believe it's like 1 or 2 off. So McCarthy's been pretty tight-lipped. He hasn't said anything either yay or nay, and he may be holding tight because he's waiting to see how this thing plays out. And if they lose Santos, there goes their slim majority in that House. Certainly has put everything is in limbo. It could go either way. Do I think he'll be charged with fraud? Yeah, he will. He will. Do I think he'll be voted out? Nah, probably not. That's politics. Like I said, he can still serve. And I guess if someone raises enough sins, like the Democratic side, if they raise enough hoops and holler enough, they might just get that 2/3 majority and vote him out. But what's the good in that? Democrats will have the majority again. That's politics. Just is. Just is. Wow. That guy, he's bad for business for anybody. I don't care whether he's Democrat or Republican. He's just bad for business. So many lies. So many lies. And he got caught in all of them. I know we oftentimes scream and holler about politicians and how unethical they are. He's it. He's the poster child. So we'll see what happens. I think that those charges of fraud, I think they're going to stick. Because like I said earlier, the other things about lying about his business, his education, his family history, his religion, that doesn't carry any criminal charges. That's more of a moral thing. But when you start dibbling and dabbling around those campaign funds, the feds do come a-snooping. It looks like they snooped it out. He paid for credit cards, got him some nice clothes, got him somewhere to lay his head. All on the premise of a lie. Good luck, homie. You're going to need it. I think they're going to nail you good. He did it to himself. Just did. Not too sure what tipped folks off to him. But man, who did the investigative work to discredit or expose those lies? Who'd you piss off? Maybe just somebody from the Democratic side. Hey, like I said, with him there, the Republicans, they have a slim majority lead in their voting. So they want to hold on to that. And that's like I said, that's the reason why McCarthy's been pretty tight-lipped. He's waiting to see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right, let's move along here, man. Yesterday, I'm sure by now all you guys have heard, just like I have. Yesterday I was at work, got an alert on my phone, looked down. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, was found guilty and ordered to pay, I believe it was $5 million to the lady that accused him of rape and sexual misconduct. But he wasn't convicted of rape. He wasn't convicted. I believe they gave some other charge as far as the sexual misconduct goes, but he was mainly charged with defamation of a character. And if you're saying to yourself, well, how did he defame her? I don't know enough about the definition of defamation, but well, here's how it went down. They're saying during the interrogation, or maybe the defamation comes because he put it out in public because he Twitter fingers again. He said he didn't know this woman and she wasn't his type. So I guess that's the defamation. He put it out in the public. If he just would have, I guess, said it doing an interview or whatever, or what have you, it would have just been between him and those conducting the interrogation. But old Twitter fingers got to tweeting. Not only did he get to tweeting, but he put it out on his own. Well, I think he put it out on his own social media site. He came out and said, "Hey, I don't know this woman. She's not my type." So that's the defamation. So much so she's been awarded $5 million. I mean, if it's defamation, it's defamation. I guess that's another form of defamation, because I always thought defamation is when you say or say something like you lie about something on someone. Or maybe they're saying he lied that he knew her when he said he didn't, and said she wasn't his type. And of course, President Trump and those that support him have came out and said, "Hey, this is a continuation of the witch hunt." That flimsy judgment of defamation, I gotta kind of say I agree with him. I always said it was a witch hunt. I mean, many have made it clear, Democrat and Republican, have made it clear they don't want to see him anywhere near that White House anymore. They don't want him to run at all. They made that clear, Democrat and Republican. They just have. But like I said, this thing, I understand the sexual misconduct and the rape. You guys couldn't make that stick, so you went with the defamation. Any old thing to do. It worked to an extent. They got a judgment. Now let's see how long or how this affects his running for president. Or is it going to affect his running for president? Because he still has a large following. Still has many supporters. Just does. And hey, we'll see what happens. Surprisingly, despite everything he has going on, his legal troubles, and now this thing with his legal troubles, the election fraud, election tampering. Despite him have all of that, all those federal investigations and the classified documents, despite all of that, a poll has came out, and in comparison to President Joe Biden, many Americans feel President Trump did a better job at handling the economy than now sitting President Joe Biden has done. Yeah. We currently have banks that are folding and have to be bailed out. Inflation is it ain't teetering. It's up and down. Where it's up. Jobs have returned because there's along with all of that, they talked about the job growth. Yeah, there has been some job growth, but folks are still struggling to make ends meet and just provide, like I always say, the essentials, groceries, gas, or paying the bills and the mortgages. Now with them, now they're trying to raise the debt ceiling. So, I mean, hey, interest rates are going to go up also. I don't think they're going to come back down. Got to keep up with inflation. So that poll that came out, and it said that many Americans, well over 50% to be exact, say that President Trump did a better job handling the economy than now President Joe Biden. Wow. Will Joe Biden win a second term? Will President Trump be elected president again? Hey, don't you dare sit there and say it'll never happen. There's a lot of things that we know we're 10 toes down. A lot of things we said wouldn't happen, and in our lifetime has happened. So I wouldn't count President Trump out just yet. And if he can, somehow, some way get his way into that run for the White House for the presidency in 2024, we'll see what happens. Because what is it, DeSantis down in Florida? He's going to do an exploratory commission sometime next month or later in the summer. He's going to announce whether he's going to run. And former Vice President Mike Pence, he's going to run. So there's going to be two strong opponents, strong conservative opponents, and they have a little following also. So that Republican nomination for the presidency in 2024, that's going to be very, very interesting. I think, to me, we're going to see who comes out on top. Who knows? Who knows? Man, yeah, President Trump, why? Wow. Is it a witch hunt? Yeah, it is. All of this is they don't want him anywhere near that White House. They just don't. And they're going to do any and everything to keep him away from it. Somehow, some way, he keeps hanging around. Yeah, you throw a jab at him, he throws two right back at you. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting, this 2024 presidential election. I'm glued to my seat. Can't wait to see the outcome of this. Will President Biden get reelected? Or will Donald Trump get back in office? It appears a lot of American citizens are still rolling with Trump. Whether you like him or hate him, they're still rocking with him. Oh man, oh man, oh man, man. Certainly is a lot going on in this world we are living in. It is a lot. Hey, before I go, man, I meant to talk about this. Have you guys heard this story of this mother out of Utah? She lost her husband last year. He died suddenly. They had 3 boys. So she came out. She wrote a children's book on how to deal with grief of losing a parent. Appeared on the local news. She received screams, praise, and accolades for being so strong and even having the internal strength, even though everything she was going through, raising kids without a father because her husband had died. She wrote a children's book. It was out. It was getting the press it needed. Like I said, she was getting all the scream, praise, and accolades, pats on the back, data boy, data girl. She's been arrested. She's been arrested for the murder of her husband. It is alleged that she gave him 5 times the legal amount of fentanyl in a drink. She poured him a drink. I guess she had fentanyl, put the fentanyl in there. He drank it and died. She says she went to another room to quiet down one of the kids so they can go to sleep. And when she returned, he was at the foot of the bed, cold to the touch. That's what she told the 911 dispatcher. He was cold to the touch. I guess he was. Dumped all that damn fentanyl in that man's drink. He killed him. I'm not laughing. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing, but you killed that guy. You killed your husband. Still no word on why. I wonder why she did it. And how did she think she was going to get away with it? Because even though the police said that, usually in these cases or instances where there's a spouse that has been killed, they're looking at the other spouse as a primary suspect. I guess they had to complete their investigation, and what kinda slid out. They found out who she bought the fentanyl from, I should say. So the drug dealer dimed out. Goes back to that Michael K. Williams, how they're now charging these drug dealers with murder when they sell these drugs with fentanyl. But they said that she just had flat out fentanyl, 5 times the legal limit. Slipped it in his drink. Wow. Once again, how folks roll, it doesn't surprise me. It just heightens my alertness. Wow. Wow, lady. Whew. That was cold-blooded. That was heartless. I guess she didn't know how much fentanyl to put in there. It said she put 5 times the legal limit. What's the legal limit? Damn. Slipped it in his drink. Cold-blooded. What did he do? Was he abusive? Or did you do it for insurance money? You know, a lot of times with these murders between spouses, it's usually over insurance money. They figure the money is better than having you hanging around getting on their last damn nerve, so they kill you. Wow. Man. I'll keep you guys updated on that, because when I heard that story yesterday, I was like, whoa. Really? We're doing that now? Apparently. Well, that's all for me today, and I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Anchor has a great feature, which I'm sharing this with, where you can offer a voice response. And also on YouTube, get in that comment section and let me know what you think. Do you think I'm nuts? Or do you agree with anything that I said? It's a crazy world we're living in. It just is. Either way, I would love to hear your voice or read your comment. So offer feedback. You can also make monetary contributions. Continue to follow and listen on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Verbal, and WordPress, and YouTube. And as always, wherever you are streaming, hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. Thank you for listening. My name is Stephen Carnegie. This is Just a Thought. Amen.